You are in direct violation of the bylaws. This fence is staying right where it is.
Perhaps, but this installation violates city code. My attorney will be addressing this immediately.
Yeah.
The first thing I saw that cold morning was silver metal where my car usually sits. For a second I thought I was still half asleep. The air smelled like wet asphalt and old coffee from the travel mug in my hand. Then my brain caught up. Someone had bolted a bright new chain link fence straight across my driveway in the Cul De Sac, with a giant red HOA violation sign zip-tied to the middle. My car was on my driveway. The fence was on the street. And I was boxed in like a parked shopping cart. I walked closer, heart pounding. There was a plastic envelope on the fence. Inside, a letter, printed in bold, angry font. Past due amount, $15. Threats about collections. Threats about liens. At the bottom, a signature from our HOA president, Karen, with her little smiley face. That's when it really hit me, this was not a joke. HOA fenced off my driveway in the Cul De Sac over $15 of dues, had no idea I am their city attorney. That title would have made me laugh if I wasn't already late for work at the actual city office. I tried to start simple. Calm. I knocked on Karen's door first, shivering in the cold air. She opened it just enough so I could see her glittery nails and the robe with little dogs on it. I told her the amount was wrong, that I had autopay, that they couldn't block a driveway over a fee dispute. She smirked and said I should have thought of that before I became a problem owner. Over her shoulder I could see two of my neighbors peeking through blinds, then ducking back like scared kids. I called the number on the letter, asked to speak to the board. Straight to voicemail. Later that day, a notice went up in our Facebook group saying the board would no longer discuss violations in person due to safety concerns. Me. I was the safety concern, apparently. That night I sat at my dining table with my laptop open, streetlights glowing through the blinds. I scrolled through months of emails from the HOA. There it was. A weird pattern of petty threats and late fees that always disappeared when I pushed back. Karen had even called the police on me once when I walked my dog past her yard. Timeline item 1 April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Back then I let it slide because I didn't want drama where I slept. But staring at that fence, I felt a line swipe across my chest. No more. I promised myself I would only use proper channels. I was not going to scream on the street. I was going to do what I do best, paperwork. I went into full lawyer mode, just without the suit yet. I pulled every email, every notice, every photo I had taken of random signs they posted. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. The next day, I filed public records requests at the city office for every complaint the HOA had made about our Cul De Sac, every permit for fences, every fine report. When I picked it up, the file landed with 63 pages. My fingers shook as I flipped through it in the break room, smelling burnt coffee and toner. There were 23 complaints from Karen alone. 9 of them were about me. Many were about my supposed loud parties I never had. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. And guess what else I saw? No permit for any fence across any driveway. Not once. The fun part was that nobody in the HOA had connected the dots yet. I had only moved to the city a few months ago. I kept my work quiet. At the next city council meeting, I told the clerk I needed a hearing placed on the agenda for HOA misuse of city right-of-way and false reports. They slotted it for a Thursday night at 7:00 p.m. I sent the HOA board a polite letter on my personal letterhead. It said the city would be reviewing their actions and they needed to attend. No threats. Just facts and dates. That night, the council chamber was packed. Neighbors filled the seats, some already holding up phones, waiting. Karen walked in first with 2 board members behind her like backup singers, all stiff and smug. She did not recognize me sitting at the front table in a navy blazer, city logo behind my chair. When our item came up, the mayor cleared his throat and asked for the city attorney to present. I stood up, feeling every eye on me, and I heard the little gasp behind me as Karen finally put it together. I introduced myself for the record as the assistant city attorney assigned to code enforcement. The room went very quiet, then kind of buzzy, as people started whispering. I walked them through the story like a simple movie. The fence across my driveway. The $15 fee. The lack of any permit. The stack of their own complaints. I flipped the binder around so the council could see the photos, the emails, the timestamps. On the screen behind me, the clerk put up a slide with the timeline. People actually laughed when they saw how many petty notes Karen had filed. Phones were up everywhere. I saw my neighbor Luke out of the corner of my eye, grinning as he filmed the whole thing. Then we got to the law part. I kept it simple. The street in front of my driveway was public right-of-way. An HOA could not build a fence there without a permit. They could not block access to a resident's home over a small fee dispute. They could not file false police reports just because they didn't like someone. The police chief was sitting in the back. I pointed out the April trespass call and the 8 other calls that led nowhere. His face was stone. When I finished, he stepped up and said they would be reviewing each report. He used words like misuse of resources and possible charges. Karen tried to speak, said she had felt unsafe. The mayor cut her off and read from their own governing rules. No blocking driveways. No retaliation. No selective enforcement. It was all right there. In their own handbook. By the end, the council voted. It was not close. The HOA was ordered to remove the fence within 24 hours, refund every improper fee from the last year, and pay a fine to the city for building in the street without a permit. The city also required the board to step down and hold new elections. Karen was barred from serving on any HOA board in town for 5 years. When the vote passed, there was this little pause, and then people clapped. Actually clapped in a city council meeting. Outside, neighbors surrounded me under the yellow parking lot lights. Someone said, "You're a legend now." Luke slapped my shoulder and said the video was already trending in the local group. The fence was gone before May 3, 2024 at 9:00 p.m., cut down so fast you could still smell the sharp metal in the air. The next weekend, kids were riding bikes in the Cul De Sac again. Cars could turn around without hitting steel. A sweet older neighbor brought me a plate of cookies and quietly pressed a folded 20 into my hand, calling it the Neighborhood Defense Fund. I gave the money back and told her the best defense was knowing the rules. Now, the new board actually answers emails. They send clear bills. They even asked me to help review the rules for fairness. I only agreed if they promised never to fence in another driveway. And sometimes, when I sit on my porch at night with a warm cup of coffee and watch everyone laughing on the street, I think about how it all started with $15 and one really bad decision. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.